Testing, testing. Hello. So I'm going to go through my photos here of my mom, Julie Laine Ligda, who passed away 3 weeks ago with Alzheimer's. I don't want to say from Alzheimer's, but with Alzheimer's. And she definitely slowed down. It took 12 years, 12 and 13 and a half years, I think. She was when her first symptoms appeared to me, and it was a journey taking care of her, and I have a lot of photos from that time. I just thought I wouldn't go through them all and do a narrative about it and talk a little bit about the process of taking care of her in her final um, 12 years, 12 and a half years. So let's go. Here she is, Julie Laine Ligda. This was before Alzheimer's. And I have if I go here, I can see the date on the photo. So this was 2006. It was 2011 when I first started noticing that when I called her, she would be repeating the same stories. So that was kind of a red flag. This was also before this. Oops. Didn't want to do that. I turned on the slideshow. Okay, so yeah, this was 2008, and this is I think this was on a Thanksgiving. No, September 2008. Oh, November 2008. 2008. Yeah, there was Thanksgiving. She was living in Naptos by herself in some senior housing, so she came up for Thanksgiving. John and I were in San Francisco, and Jill was in Oregon. It was a Thanksgiving gathering. And then we have this is my mom. This is the date my brother was born. So this is from my brother's baby album. This is her and my father. And the reason I have these photos now, and this is the home we lived in. I went to this home a few years ago and visited it on my 50th birthday, 50th, 55th, something like that. Can't keep track of how old I am anymore. But these, you could see the trees and everything were much bigger. Anyway, the reason why I have these photos is this is when John and I intervened in taking care of my mom. I said in 2011, I noticed she was repeating the same stories. In 2012, she got in trouble with the place where she was staying. She couldn't follow the instructions. Basically, there were bed bugs in her apartment, and she was supposed to clear out her stuff. So she would receive the instructions, and then she would forget them and not comply, and it's pretty serious for the management there. So they called us and said, you need to intervene and take care of your mom. So part of the solution for bed bugs is you have to basically clear out the apartment of everything and treat things and treat the apartment. And since we had everything cleared out, we just moved her in with us up in San Francisco. And this is when John was brought home. This is me with the green jumper on, and my beautiful mom and my beautiful sister. So here we are now. She's living with me in San Francisco. This is off the Pier 7, I believe, in San Francisco. And the date here is 2012. So that was right when she moved in with us there. And so the adventures began. So I had this person with me. She was still pretty lucid and could take care of herself for the most part. She needed help with basic things, finances. So I created a joint account for us so that I could manage her finances, but I could go still live my life, but a lot of things I would just I would just take her with me if I could. Here she is. This is a pose of her, a photo when she was 4, and she's doing the same pose. Anyway, oh, there's the picture by itself. Of course, we had all her old stuff, and we were looking through her boxes, and that's why we were looking at all these old photos. And this was a box, Keepers Jay and John, full of stuff that we had given her over the years. And but I took a photo of this because I thought it was cute. Keepers. She decided to keep us, and so we kept her. And here we are watching Star Wars. This should be in December, right? Oh no, May 2012. Huh. I don't know what movie we were watching. Just the Star Wars movies were coming out in December, so some 3D movie. And we put her to work, helping us. She was very, very industrious here. This is her cat that came with her, Chloe. She had a cat, a previous cat, Tippy Tucker, and he passed away around the same time that I thought somebody was at the door, but I think the cat just came in. Just when I was talking about Chloe, the cat, or the other cat came in. Tippy Tucker died about the same time that she was starting to get the memory issues, I think. I don't know the exact dates, but it was around that time. And so she got Chloe, and Chloe came with us. This is the master. Oh no, this is at McGill. This is in San Francisco. This is my room in San Francisco. And here we are. This is the old house that she lived in Los Gatos when my sister was born. So we went around and looked at some old places and old stomping grounds while we were hanging out. This is her Uncle Hub. And this is us packing up her stuff. So this is back at Aptos. We had to pack up all her stuff for the bed bugs, and of course we just took them. So this is where she was living, getting ready to pack it all up. And empty. And then here we are hiking up Twin Peaks. She was quite a trooper. She liked to go on hikes and walks, and she didn't complain a lot. Even this was a cold, windy day. She was quite a trooper. And she made it up to the top here. Cute as a button. Mom was a ballet dancer when she was young. I don't have any photos of that. This is this little note says, so I set my mom up with a scanner. She said you could scan and archive her old photos. So I don't know if she was scanning these or if I was, but this is her at 4, and this is her friend Gary Height, and they remained friends. He was even calling her when she was living with us. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't been able to track him down, but he knew that she had Alzheimer's and that she eventually forgot him. And so here we are, Golden Gate Bridge. Just many adventures. Actually, I think this was the day that the space shuttle did a flyby. So we were watching the space shuttle, and some of these I put a photo in for context, but I didn't do the space shuttle. But here we are at the California Academy of Sciences with a butterfly on her shoulder. And the spider, I like this photo. She was behind the glass of the spider. California Academy of Sciences roof. So the San Francisco adventures, And here we are at the Exploratorium with my sister doing Exploratorium stuff. Let's see, what was the date on this? I think it was Jill's birthday was on the 15th. So I think we did this for her birthday. Jill was living in Oregon at this time. So exploratorium. Here she is voting. This would be on voting day. What day is this? November 6th. So we voted and went to the exploratorium. Christmas, walking around Union Square. And here we are. This is Christmas 2012. So she had just moved in with us. This is my father. They divorced when in 1970. I was 4 years old. And this is their first Christmas together since then. And Christmases were always, for a long time, we would swap, father, mother. But after a while, it was just more Christmassy at my father's house. So we liked to be there. Or I should say I did. And we left mom alone on Christmas. Although we would go always, a week before or a week after and take her out. And she said that was nice enough. But, sometimes people say things and it's not necessarily how they're feeling. I'm sure she was lonely on Christmas and I felt sad about that. And a little guilty. And then this is right after she moved in with us. We got her set up with Kaiser and they did a mammogram and found that she had breast cancer. So that was immediately, we had to deal with that and the Alzheimer's at the same time. We had her diagnosed for Alzheimer's at Stanford Medical Facility. They have a good facility for that. And they said with 98% accuracy, they don't know for sure, but 98% accuracy that was what she had. And I was a little worried with the breast cancer that she wouldn't be able to make decisions for herself. I had power of attorney. I don't know. I'm sure I had it at that time, but she had to make the choice if she wanted to do radiation or just have the mastectomy, and she made that decision herself. So here she is at the hospital. This is her mom. My grandmother, she passed away in 1977. I was 11 then. I didn't really know her that well. And here we are, another hike. This is still San Francisco. There was a 3-mile hike I used to do that went down and then up Glen Canyon. It was very steep, so she was resting, but she made it all the way. You can see that. Proud of herself. Making carrot cake, her favorite thing. After she passed away, we were going through her boxes. She had boxes and boxes of stuff and so many carrot cake recipes. She loved carrot cake and she just collected recipes. This must have been a good one. And now here we are in Benicia. So my father, who's totally supportive of, taking care of mom, owned this property in Benicia. And in San Francisco, we had the 2 apartments. My brother lived in one and I lived in the other. And this is a building that we co-owned with my father. But we were also renting one of the apartments. There's 4 apartments and we lived in 2 of them, but we would rent one of ours out in Airbnb. We had them both listed. So if somebody wanted to stay there, we would all move into the other apartment. So there were 3 of us moving back and forth between 1-bedroom apartments. It was kind of comical. So I was visiting my father, and the tenants of this house in Benicia came over and gave notice. And I just said to him, we have to move there so that we can take care of mom. And it turned out to be a good move because we were able to rent the apartments in San Francisco for more than what we were paying for rent here. So this is the kitchen, the old kitchen, and we remodeled everything. Back at San Francisco on Mother's Day, May 12th. So we got heart stickers for Mother's Day. She was so cute. That's my favorite. Here we are visiting my grandmother's grave, not the one that I showed earlier. This was my father's mother. She's buried in Colma, not too far from Wyatt Earp. In fact, I think this is the last time I visited her grave. And here's the kitchen remodeled in Benicia. It didn't happen that fast. It took it took a few months. But let's go back and look at that previous picture. See, it was just a tiny room, the kitchen here, and then we opened up the wall and put the island in. So now this whole space is open. To the left here, it opens up to the room, living area. Really made a big difference. And then this is breast cancer walk. I got a T-shirt, and I had all my friends and connections sign it with whoever they knew that had breast cancer. And so I walked with this shirt. Carolyn Field is my grandmother. That was whose grave we were visiting. So she passed away from, I don't know if it's, she did have breast cancer, and she had the mastectomy, and she passed away from cancer, and I think it was all the same over a period of time. So I did the 3-day walk in honor of mom and all of my grandmother and all these people that my friends knew. This is the house on Elna Drive. This is the house that we grew up in. This is the house we were living in when mom and dad divorced. And when I was 4, we moved down to Santa Clara, where her mom lived, and started a new life there. My father stayed in this house, and we would go visit him every other weekend and for a month in the summertime. And in 77, we moved away from this house. So he was here for 7 years on his own. So that was in Vallejo near Benicia. So we wanted to visit this place as well. Kitchen at Benicia with the nice big garden window. Mom's cleaning. She spent a lot of time cleaning, and she didn't cook a lot, but she was out in the garden quite a bit. Here she is in the garden. This is a hummingbird feeder, it looks like, but she would plant plants. She would go down and get plants and plant them. She loved being out there. And this is the new Bay Bridge that was just built. So we went to Yerba Buena Island. That's where we were when we took this. And that's my car. I just got that car, Volvo. And here she is at the hospital again. I don't know why. What's the date on this? October 2013. So it was after the cancer. I don't know. For some reason, we had to do another hospital visit. I can't quite remember why. But she seemed pretty happy. Can't end there. And there she is in the garden again. She, and this is my cat Quan that lived with us. So we had her cat Chloe, my cat Quan, my brother's cat Dennis. And then Chloe actually disappeared shortly after she moved here. It was sad. She got hit by a car and broke her hip, and then we were trying to help her heal, and then she just disappeared. This is on Halloween. I decorated for Halloween, and with this photo, she can look like a ghost. It's kind of fun. This is her taking Tai Chi classes at the community center. So she was, active and involved in getting involved in things. And this is a trip to Palm Springs. My father had a timeshare there for a week and invited the family to go, but nobody went except me and mom. So this was a very interesting trip because I was going with my mother and father, who had been divorced since 1970. And I thought, well, this is going to be interesting. I didn't know what to expect. And they talked about their marriage and all the way down, and I recorded it on audio. So I have a lot of that. I haven't listened to it since then. But Salton Sea, I if you know about the Salton Sea, it's a stinky place. I wanted to go swimming. I found this lake, big lake that maybe I could swim in, and I went down there. No, you can't swim there. Look it up. I'm not going to tell you the story. And so this is just around Palm Springs, the different sites. I tried to get her to do the pose, the Marilyn Monroe pose, but she wouldn't do it. This is on some kind of. Oh, okay, now we're up at Mount San Jacinto, and there was snow up there. Mm-hmm. This is my father on the right, and now we're at Joshua Tree. And I looked for the place where the U2 did their album cover, but of course you can't really find it. So I wanted them to do the pose, the Joshua Tree album cover. So here they are. She was smiling. I said, "Don't smile. You have to be serious." So she did good. So this is my U2 Joshua Tree pose. Years later, I did one with Rush at the moving pictures, but that didn't have Mom in it, so you won't see it. So here we are at Christmas. Monterey Bay Aquarium. This is Anne Hansen. She was once the mayor of Lafayette, not Lafayette, but Pinole, and she was a friend of my father's. So we went to visit her. She gave us this plate. She gave us a table, not this table, but another table. And she just gave us some furniture that we needed for the house. And here we are walking around Benicia. My sister as well in the garden. She wanted a Dyson vacuum. She was very adamant about having a Dyson vacuum, so we got this handheld combo cordless one, and she loved it. Mm-hmm. Her and my cat Quan. This is her brother, Danny Laine. This was the day that my cousin Danny's daughter got married, and it was shortly before his wife passed away. It was kind of a bittersweet day for him, I'm sure. After a while, she didn't quite remember her brother anymore. It was pretty sad. Well, she didn't remember us anymore, but there was a day-to-day connection. Here we are at the Rogue River with my sister. This is up in Oregon. Let's see, what year was this? 2014. I think it's 2016. My sister moved down to help take care. Oh, this is all the cats. So here is Quan, and here is Dennis and Callie. Callie was an extra cat that came with Mom. It was her other brother's cat, and the other brother couldn't take care of it anymore, so he kind of dumped it on my mom, and she was only allowed to have one cat, so she almost got in trouble before getting in trouble with the bed bugs about having two cats, but she brought him up to stay with us, and then we tried to find a home for her, and eventually she just ended up with us. This is Cat Haven here at Benicia. Not really, because there's coyotes in the neighborhood. Sometimes cats disappeared, but none of these cats did. Quan and Dennis passed away shortly after this, around the same time. They might have been poisoned, and Callie passed away a couple years later. And then we had Mimsy, my sister's cat. So here she is gardening. We pulled a century plant out of here, and she wanted to fill it up with something, so she bought this little plant. And it was around this time that she kind of gave up on gardening. You could see this that she has in her hand is a watering thing, and it's full of Miracle Grow. She was obsessed with Miracle Grow. She wanted to always go down and buy more and more Miracle Grow. And I think she just started killing off the plants with too much Miracle Grow. It's like she couldn't remember that she had already given a Miracle Grow, and so a lot of the plants started to die off, and then she just stopped gardening. This one didn't last very long, but a plant that is solid in its environment already, she was enjoying. And these just many walks around Benicia. We used to go to Huckleberry's every Sunday for breakfast. It was nice, a nice little routine. And IKEA, looking for furniture. I don't remember exactly what. These are charity events that we go to. My father's involved in a lot of these nonprofit organizations that have these fundraising events, crab feeds and stuff. And this was a sweet little note that she just randomly left for me one day. The sun brightens. She's just describing the scene. You know, we have a view of the Carquinez Strait, which he didn't spell right here. Carquinez with a C. It's Q. And we could see the sunsets. So she was describing it. It was very sweet. Now we're in England. So this is 2014. My brother was engaged to a woman that lived there in London. So we all flew over to meet her family and hang out in England. And this was the day one. Now, I want to tell you, flying for 11 hours with somebody with Alzheimer's is not fun at all. And the whole family was meeting there, but I was alone on the flight with Mom. My sister went out earlier, my father went out earlier, and my brother was already there. So she required constant attention for 11 hours on the flight. And of course, they didn't want to disturb anybody. So I was just trying to take care of her without disturbing people. I don't think we disturbed people, but it was just taxing on me. And my brother met us at the airport in London. And as soon as he was able to keep an eye on her, I was like, a sense of freedom. And so, wow, I can go to the bathroom without worrying about her. And it's just the little things that we take for granted that we can do in life without issues that get challenged when you're taking care of somebody. You know, she could wander off and very easily, and I would often take her into the bathrooms with me so that she wouldn't get lost. So there's this woman in the men's bathroom. But I did what I had to do. Australia was nice. We haven't got to Australia yet because they had family bathrooms. This is Bath in England. We landed in London and then we drove to Cornwall where my father had the timeshare. Oh. This is Cheddar Gorge, where cheddar cheese was created. And so this is a poster on the front side. It had a scene with faces. You know, you could pretend you're the faces, and Mom was poking her head through, and John was setting up the camera. And on the back side, it was just a scene was painted. It was pretty cool, little mural. And there's a prison, Boswell's prison that we visited. And this was, I think, St. Michael's mound. All in Cornwall. This is Land's End. And you can see my brother's fiance was in here too. She's the one with the red scarf. You can hardly see her, but you'll see a better picture of her. The chicken wanted her food. This is my brother's fiance, Isabel. She loved Mom. Mom loved her. And this was, I don't remember the name of these places. Um, is a theater built into the side of the cliff where they did Shakespearean plays. And here are our feet. Yeah, it was a nice day. My brother's acting, and they're watching. And this was the timeshare there. And one thing I wanted to note about this is that mom would just talk all the time. And my father and I were watching TV or something, and she was in the kitchen cleaning up and just talking and talking. And he kind of looks at me and says, "Does she just talk all the time?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Because I'm just starting to tune it out." And I said, "Yeah, that's what I do too." um, she had a sweet voice, at least. And this was at the Biodome. They had this little magnet thing where you could make words, and that's what she wrote. Very sweet. This is the Biodome. They had plants of all different kinds growing under a, what a cutie pie, growing under a dome, and then Stonehenge, of course. So now we're driving back to London. And this is the Chapirska family, my brother's fiance. We spent the day with them. And this was another day that was, this is the fiance and the mom, and I think the grandmother, I don't know, and the sister. My mom wore this wig that, and my sister's there too, that day, which I didn't really like that much. Maybe she wanted to impress them. But it was a really nice day because it was another day that was freeing to me. I didn't feel like I needed to be watching my mom all the time because all of these people were watching her too. Very nice. And here we are at the Crown Jewels. Yeah, I read a caption on this that we mentioned that we were from California, and he came up with all these stereotypes. And that was her reaction. He started saying all these stereotypes for California. And London Eye and ice cream, yummy, dipping in coffee. The London Eye on the ground. Buckingham Palace. My father and mother. They walked with me one day. I spent a year, no, not a year, 4 months in London on an exchange program. So I wanted to go back and look at all those places. It was, 86, and this was almost 30 years later. I wanted to see all of those old places. Buckingham Palace, no, that wasn't one of them. I was just on the way. So they came with me. This is the hotel that I was living in. It was converted into student dorms, and now it's changed quite a bit. It's very fancy. And now we're at Christmas. This looks like we're back in San Francisco. Yep, back in Benicia. Mom and Dad decorated a Christmas tree in Benicia. We moved the Christmases from the Vallejo house where my father lives to the Benicia house. And Mom was enjoying her Christmas. Oh, this is a video. I don't know if I have this so that you can hear, but the point is that she was still enjoying Christmas, and I'm not going to play the video. And aware of presents and that it was Christmas and treats like that. So that after a while, she didn't even know what Christmas was. I can't forward this. Okay, so now we're walking. Just more walks. This is her phone. She got kind of jealous because everybody had a phone, so we bought her one. And she became the photographer connoisseur with her phone. And I After she passed away, I found her phone. Well, yeah, not after she passed away, but after she was no longer able to use it, I found it and unloaded all the pictures from it. So these are some of the pictures that she took. This one isn't, but I'll show you some of the ones that she took. So this is a crab feed. It's a fundraising dinner. She was enjoying herself. It's Callie the cat. Callie was the last cat before my sister moved down. I think my sister moved down in 2016, so I loved Callie. She was turned out to be my favorite cat. This is a picture that she took with her phone. And this, she started doing some selfies. Selfies. And this is another video. I had this idea to hide Easter eggs for her one day. These videos aren't playing, so I'm just going to skip them. But so I went down and got all these plastic eggs and hid them and put some surprises in them. The big one was a nice pair of earrings. She liked earrings. So it didn't go over too well. She wasn't too excited about this plan. I thought she would be happy to do an Easter egg hunt. In fact, some of the eggs were turning up months and months later, and the ones that I hid with the earrings, it was like 6 months later she came in with this egg with these earrings in them. And by that time I don't think she remembered about the Easter egg hunt. So and see here, she's got her phone in the white case there. Trying to figure out how to use it. New shoes. Capitol Speakers, my Toastmasters club. When I moved to Benicia, I joined Toastmasters there, and she used to come with me. I used to give her the choice, do you want to come or do you want to stay here? And half the time she would stay home, and the other half she would want to come. And then after a while, she just would come all the time, and they made her an honorary member. And once she, maybe I have the picture of it, but she did a role as the word master. She got up and gave everybody a word to, in Toastmasters, we have a word of the day that we try and incorporate into our speeches to improve our vocabulary. This is a photo she took, a statue in our backyard. And here we are at Toastmasters. This was a themed day, so we were supposed to be dressed like Hawaiian, in Hawaiian. Oh no, it was Vegas. See, there's dice and stuff on the table. And she was dressed like a showgirl. And she wore the same costume for Beta Breakers, which I think I have pictures of. This was a little solar plant. It was swag for somebody who came, PG&E or something. Solar City, so it was the solar, we got solar on the house. But it would vibrate back and forth. I think she liked it. Some more sweet notes. Need window cleaner. And thank you for a wonderful Mother's Day. This hour. But for always. So very sweet. Okay, same costume rather than her Toastmasters badge. She has the Beta Breakers bib. She walked the Beta Breakers with us. We've been doing this every year. Well, of course I used to run, but now we walk, my father, brother, and I. It's a tradition, so Mom came with us. And she took a lot of time because she liked to talk to people. She liked to go up to people and just randomly compliment them and make them smile. She was always spreading love and joy to everybody. So it took us a long time to do this because she was stopping. She was such a lovely person in that way. I'm happy to announce that we did not break that rule. Uh, Here we are going up Hay Street Hill. She made it. These were taken with her phone. I didn't take them. I think my brother must have taken them. And finishing 3 hours and 11 minutes. And it wasn't over there because we had to walk up to the Cliff House where we have breakfast. And she got her medal. This is one of my favorite photos of her of all time. And this is her, what her phone recorded. Actually, I think she had a Fitbit on, so she walked 10 miles. She was sore around mile 5, I could tell, but she didn't complain. She kept going. Quite the trooper, like I said. These little notes make me cry. It's my brother, Mom. Oh, this is Mother's Day, I think, or her birthday. 27th, that's her birthday, May 27th. My mom's birthday is near. Yeah, it says birthday girl on here. It's obvious. My mother's birthday is near Mother's Day, and my father's birthday is near Father's Day, so we always got away with one of them. And this is 77th birthday. This is at Toastmasters. Good blow. This is a tour. The company I work for would put on these tours of manufacturing plants, and this was glass manufacturing. So she went with me on this tour while they're pouring glass randomly on my computer. This is these are photos she took on her phone. She took a lot of photos of her things, just her things at random. So here she is talking to random people. Just she would just go up and compliment people, and so yeah, so this is a photo she took of just her things. What a smile! What a beautiful lady. This is her friend Jerry Nystrom from way back when I was a kid. She had a women's group circle that she met with, and Jerry remained friends with her. And Jerry came down to see her, and that was the last time they saw each other. This is in Martinez, just just walks. Mitchell's Ice Cream, and here we are going somewhere. Where are we going? Terminal. I'm leaving my car there, so let's see. Wait, here is it? 2015. Oh, this is Canada. This is up in the CNN tower. They have this glass floor where it's just straight down thousands of feet, 1,000 feet or so. However, the CN tower is it's one of the tallest buildings, and she had no problem sitting out there on that glass floor, looking down. Yeah, this is in Canada. This is a house exchange. This is another video. The videos aren't playing too well, so I'm gonna skip them. But she was having her hair painted. There it is. This was a sandcastle building contest that we went to, and Dad and Mom enjoying the show. And here we are. This is actually where the Rush album Moving Pictures was filmed, or the photo was taken. And I don't have the photo, but maybe it wasn't, but I did a pose with my father and sister holding. They weren't really holding anything, but I photoshopped it in later. So I have two album covers, the Joshua Tree and the Rush. Sorry, I don't have that in this album because it's not my mom. So this is all Canada. This is Niagara Falls. Another video, which I'm going to skip. Okay, so when these videos play, it kind of messes up my my rhythm here. They're not playing too well. But here she is getting her hair painted. And there it is, beautiful. This was a sandcastle building contest that we went to check out. And there she is with her beautifully painted hair, enjoying. And then this was a like just a show, a performance that we were resting, pretending to watch. And this was an old church or something. This is all Canada. This is Niagara Falls. Sorry, that was a video. I did fast forward it really fast because the videos aren't messing up. We did this Niagara Falls tour. They took us to various spots. My sister, my father, my mom, and I were there. You can see Niagara Falls in the background on this one. This is an area where the water churns around way after the falls. This kind of dynamic area where the water turns the corner and makes this pool of just dynamic washing machine water. And here we are going behind the falls. So this is where we are going, behind these great falls portals. And now we're on the mist cruise. You can tell because we got a different color jacket now, going out to see Niagara Falls. And here she is, she would just randomly go talk to people. And this kind of homeless guy begging, she just went up and brightened his day. Baseball game. Oh, I wish you could see these videos. I'll have to post all the videos, but she was doing the wave. Let me stop this. Okay, so we missed the wave, and all the videos just aren't playing. Now we're at these botanical gardens. This was a lot of walking this day. We were so tired, and then we had more walking to do. Now we're back. This is in Palo Alto. My brother was doing this art show market, and my mom was helping. She was making all the sales. These are my brother's drawings. Here we are at the Mark Knopfler concert. So we were we just started taking her everywhere with us, and she added a lot of joy. This is at the Greek in Berkeley, waiting for Mark Knopfler. She went to Mark Knopfler with us twice. I'm a big Mark Knopfler fan, and I would always go. And my brother and my sister began to like him, and my brother likes him, so we did twice we went as a family. This is one of her selfies. And here she is painting in the backyard. Well, my brother brought some stuff over for her to paint, and she did it. She took to it, even with a very poor memory at this stage. What year is this? 2015. So a lot of these photos are, this is just the first couple of years. Here they are painting. Another walk. This is along Glen Cove in Benicia. No, it's Vallejo. Benicia's on the other side of this tower is where Benicia is. This is Glen Cove, and it's near the Carquinez Bridge. Another steep hill. She made it up. Quite the trooper. And enjoying her walk. This is a dance performance. My brother does these dance performances. He becomes a part of the dance, although he's drawing. So he draws the dancers as a part of the dance. And this is afterwards with some of the dancers. My mom's. This is my mom feeding my sister as a baby. And once again, the video is not playing, so. Oh, you know what? I gotta fast forward because these are all the photos of the videos from my dad's home movies. I have to. There's like 50 of them. I'm gonna pause this and then fast forward all these because I can't show you all of these. Okay, sorry about that, but there's a lot of the old home movies. And here we are back. This is her brother again. And at this point, she appears to still remember him. This must be at their house in San Ramon. That's where my Uncle Danny lived, his daughter. Other selfies. These are her selfies. Although she's got both her hands here, so actually I don't know how these were taken, but they were with her phone. Maybe my brother took it. And here we are going on the ferry, and I stashed my key. This is my car, and I stashed my key for some reason. I think I was leaving the car for somebody else, and that's where I stashed the key. Anyway, she was marking it. She had nice boots. She got rocks in her boots. And here we are at another Star Wars movie, I think. Yeah, December 2015. The next Star Wars movie. Golden Gate Bridge. See, we got around. My sister. This, okay, Christmas time, 2015. My sister still wasn't living with us. I think she moved in 2016. This is at the South End Rowing Club. And here we are at Mom Commanding the Weather in Benicia. This is Benicia, palm trees. She creates rainbows. Okay, this is the photo of her at Toastmasters doing the word of the day. It was enthusiasm. She had a lot of little catchphrases that she used quite a bit. One of them was, "I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic." You always ask her how she's doing. "I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic." It's something she picked up when she was a Girl Scout camp. They sung that song, and it just stuck with her for the rest of her life, and she said it all the time. "How are you?" "I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic." Always in the morning. Pam was helping her. This is another charity dinner. This is my sister by adoption, Brandy, my father's daughter, and her boyfriend, and my stepsister over to the left. And my mom, of course. She won a raffle. A raffle prize. Socks for Christmas. Back at the hospital, we were doing scans on her brain and, getting pictures of her brain, which really didn't do much. So this was an EKG on her brain, which she seemed to be enjoying quite a bit. We did an MRI, and it was painful because she didn't, she's confined. If you ever had an MRI or saw it done, it's this tiny little confined space, and she didn't understand what was going on. I had a little button I could abort at any time, but I could see her. They had a mirror that I could see her, but boy, I'm never doing anything. I should say, I swore I would never do that again, and we never did. The EKG, though, she seemed to enjoy. And here we are at the Solano courthouse. So her second husband was McConnell, Bill McConnell, and that was her name. And one day she just declared, "I'm not McConnell anymore. That guy's long gone." They divorced, I think, in 87 or so, but she kept the name. And then I guess in her Alzheimer's, she decided that she wasn't McConnell anymore. And, "Well, what is your name?" And she kind of paused for a second, and she says, "Laine Ligda." Laine is her maiden name, and Ligda is our name. So she chose to go back to her maiden name and to share the name of her children, which was her first husband, and my father, who has been supporting her on all this process. And he actually did, because he's an attorney with Solano County, he did the paperwork to get her name changed. So now she was officially Julie Laine Ligda. It's another raffle. This is a dance that she went to. It's senior dance, and it didn't. This one guy danced with her, but nobody else did. They didn't take her back there. She used to be a ballet dancer, I think I said, and she taught dancing. This looks like the Carquinez Bridge, and this is Callie the dog, which is my father's dog and my sister. So, is that my sister? It doesn't make sense because my sister wouldn't be walking the dog. I don't know, is that Brandy? I don't know. Anyway, Mom won this match, arm wrestling. You could see her name. She's Julie Laine Ligda on her name tag. I don't know where this is. Another selfie. And these are coloring books that my sister got with her and would color with her. And you could see Callie the cat in Benicia, 100 Dartmouth Place. Now you all know where we live. But she did the coloring, and she named it Callie, although Callie was a white cat. At one of the raffles, I won a free family membership to the gym. So we took advantage of that, and Mom came with us. And I used to like to do the erg, the rowing machines. And there was an empty one. She just sat down and started doing it. It was cute. She did good. This is, I believe, Treasure Island. No, because this is Emeryville Marina. You can see Treasure Island in the background. I believe we're in Oregon. Yeah, this is what's her name? Is a friend of my father's from high school, and my sister lived at her house. So this is 2016. I think this is when we went up to get my sister. I think it was November though, so this might have been an earlier visit. Can't remember. Jackie was her name, Jackie. And this is the Rogue River. Oh, okay, now we're at Chase Field in Arizona. We went on a lot of these trips with my father. My father has had this goal to see all of the baseball teams in their home park. So he was knocking them out and taking mom and I with him. So this was Arizona. And when we were in Canada, he and I went to Detroit, and we also went to the Toronto game. So we were knocking them out. And at some point in the game, I always like to wander around the stadiums. And I took mom with us here. So here we are at the very highest seats. Mm-hmm. And it was once again, is this Arizona? I think this was Palm Springs. No, it's Arizona. You can see the Arizona state flag there. This Capitol building, my father likes to see the Capitol buildings, and this was a memorial, all kinds of different memorials. And then this was the Airplane Museum. She's doing the pose. See, she didn't do the Marilyn Monroe pose, but she's willing to do the uh, doesn't have a name. But, and then we're at the museum, natural history, the dinosaurs. She's so cute. And hiking with my friend Michelle. Michelle is a friend, my friend's sister. She was a little kid, the kid's sister, and she lived in Arizona, so she took us hiking and took photos of me and mom. And there they are hiking. I would drop back, and mom followed Michelle. Mom liked to follow when she walked. I think she felt safer just following, but she would just follow me wherever I went. And it was nice for her to be following somebody else for a little while. There they are. And I finally caught up. Still in Arizona. This was at a bicycle park. Still in Arizona. This is the lookout. I like to go to high places. My dad likes to go to capitals and baseball stadiums, and I like to go to high places. So this is at the top of the highest peak of the view. There it is. And back home with Callie the cat. Mm-hmm. My brother did that. These are from my brother's album. And he was wearing her hat. I bought her this sun hat in, I don't know, somewhere. She had it in Canada, so maybe that's where I bought it for her. Triathlon or a swim. John came and watched her while I swam. This is post swim. Walking around San Francisco. These are all from my brother's photos. And then here we are. I think this is a rowing machine. And after I was done, I would take photos of this for my archive. And she was there. So I don't know if this is, I think this was the South End Rowing Club, but maybe it was at the gym. I can't quite tell. This is a wife of one of the Toastmasters we ran into at the Benicia Park, and they were just loving each other, and they danced. See, this is my brother, so you can see that's me in the background. And this, whatever it is, it says I'm a catch on it. These are my brother's photos. Fireworks at the South End Rowing Club. She's getting some kind of scan. I don't know. This was this little trail, a levee trail in Benicia. Here she is with Callie the dog. And here we are going on another trip. So this is 2016, September, Colorado. Looks like we flew out together on this one, the three of us, my father, mother, and I. It was around this time we were starting to have issues with her incontinence. It's funny, that brings back memories because of these trips in the rental car, and all of a sudden, what's that? And then having to take her and change her underwear, and I had to keep her, extra pairs of clothes and everything, and we started using incontinence products. This is all Colorado. This is Vail. Vail in the summertime, or before it snowed, September, and the aspens were in bloom. Not really bloom, but color changing, and we took a train ride through the aspens. My father took that. And then this was there's some caverns. It also had this little amusement park. So we took the gondola up to where the amusement park was, and the entrance to the caverns were. And this was scary. These are little go-karts. See, they're on this track, and gravity would just take them down. You had these brakes. My father's holding on to a brake, and you're supposed to brake when you go into the turns, and we put Mom on one of these. I don't remember if she just wanted to go and just got on it, but I was so nervous that I was behind her. I got into the one behind her, but so nervous that she wouldn't be able to brake in the turns, and she did it, luckily, but it was scary. I think she was scared, and I was scared, and yeah, might not have been a good decision, but it turned out okay. Now we're in the caves, and now we're at the Rockies game. We had to go to the Rockies too. And there she is at the Mile High seats in the Rocky Stadium. They have a row of purple seats where it's 1 mile high. More aspens, more beautiful buildings in Colorado. Now I guess we're coming home. September, yeah, coming home from Colorado. Now we're on a cruise to Alaska. So this is 2017. My father bought us a cruise to Alaska. My brother couldn't go on a lot of these because he was working. So it was just me, Mom, and my sister, Glacier Point. We wanted to see the calving of the glaciers, and there's only 2 cruise ships allowed in this glacier bay per day, and we were one of them on this day. And it would just go park here and watch the glacier calving. But we stood out there for a long time, and she was a trooper, even though she was cold. And then this is one of the stops in Alaska. This was on Mother's Day. She and I hung out in this. Starts with a K, Ketchikan or something like that, and it was raining. Now we're coming back to San Francisco on the cruise. This was just a big dog. This was back in Ketchikan, and since it was raining, we took the duck cruise. The amphibian cruise. So this was going into the water, and it was all covered, so we were safe. This is in Victoria. The cruise ship made a stop in Victoria, and I think if it's an international boat, it's not allowed to just do U.S. stops, so it has to stop in a foreign port. It was 5 hours. We were just there for 5 hours, and Mom and I just walked around. It was one of the last times I remember really walking far with her. later this year we go to kiss a cook. um, yeah, Victoria, Canada. So this was at the port or something. We just walked around. It was really delightful, a very delightful day. And she she liked to read signs. It was like this was chalk art on the street made to look like a she was standing on something. And now this is Yosemite, but I was saying she liked to read signs, and it was like she knew that her memory was going and her mind was going, but this ability to read signs, she still had that, so she used it any chance she could. She would just stop and read all the signs. It'd take a long time to walk with her, but I was patient. Now this is Yosemite. She's got the cute little Pokemon hat. We were there to see the sunrise. Now where are we? Oh, this is the parade. I think the Benicia 4th of July parade. Nope, August. I don't know when it was then. Now this is eclipse. So we're watching the eclipse. She has her eclipse glasses on. And these are all the other people watching the eclipse. And I did this, pinhole thing, and I made them into shapes so that you would see this is the Golden Gate Bridge shape with the pinholes for the eclipse. And on a painted background. That was my art project for the day. I don't know where this is. Assessing leadership skills. I think this is a Toastmasters thing that I drug her to. Being cute. Toastmasters, I was the area director. So this was all the Toastmasters clubs in the area contest. I'm in the middle because I was the man in charge. Just photos around the house. She liked to eat. Burger King. She loved bacon. God, what a smile. What a beautiful lady. Okay, we're in Australia, suddenly. So it was in Australia where she seemed like she didn't like walking anymore. In Australia, once again, was my father, sister, mom, and I. My brother was working, so he didn't come. They had a house exchange. We were there for 3 weeks. And during one of those weeks, my father, and this is Sydney, and sister went on a cruise, and we had the car from the house that we were doing the exchange with. So mom and I just drove all over the place, one day after another. This is all in Sydney before that. But I would do these little hikes, and she didn't get very far before she would start saying, let me address these photos here. She's being her lovely self to the person who's posing as a statue. And I think she got her to break character. Anyway, yeah, she would start saying, I want to go back to the car. I want to go back to the car. And so I would just do these short walks, no more than a mile, and force her along with me. It was a nice panoramic. Sydney Harbor's beautiful. It's a beautiful city. And this is the museum, Sydney Museum. And this is the hop on, hop off tour. Some high point. There's a tower in Sydney. And so she and I went out at sunset. And this is an island that we took a boat out to in the Australia Zoo. We spent 3 days in Sydney, and the rest was in Noosa, on the Gold Coast. Where's the Sunshine Coast? And this is the Australia Zoo, and that's not a real crocodile, don't worry. Petting kangaroos, petting koalas, and hiking up high places. Yeah, this was when we were starting, she's not walking very well anymore. Taking rests. My father resting with her. You see, father's about 85 at this, and my mom is 79. So hiking down. This now she's happy to be on a boat. A lot of boat rides. It's all Australia. You can see, oh, this was the one hike that was kind of questionable. It went down, 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 and then we had to go up, up, up. And she was exhausted. We just took it really slow, really easy. Some of the beautiful things we saw on those hikes. Fig tree. No, this isn't a fig tree, but amazing nature. This was a lighthouse. This is the 60-mile beach, where it's a freeway. It's a highway, and they drive up and down the beach. It's like just a normal road. Beautiful day. It was actually rainy, but this was a break in the rain. This is the tour bus that we were on, and you could see this wasn't wet from the rain, but the water seeps down and makes this red beach or something like that. I don't quite remember. Having lunch. This is wow, look at that. This was Fraser Island tour. So we're on the ferry, and we're getting into the tour bus here to go on Fraser Island. There was a place to swim, a place to act like an animal, and this was on the way home. I bought her the koala bear. I bought her stuffed animals wherever we went. And now we're back at Christmas in another Star Wars movie, I believe. 2017. So they came out every 2 years, 2013, 15, 17, and we went to all of them. Post office, delivering mail, Christmas presents, backpack. We had to get her the backpack because we were carrying stuff back and forth. She would go stay at my father's house where my brother lived for a couple of days of the week, and then she would come back to Benicia. So we had to get her the backpack to put her things in, to carry them back and forth. Whoops, fell asleep. Playing in the park. You could see how delightful she was. This was, I believe, yeah, this is the Queen Mary. My father and his lady friend are on that, going on a world cruise. So we walked out on the Golden Gate Bridge to watch them go under. And by the time it was over, it was getting dark. This was hilarious. I was learning about blockchain. So I would put on these videos so I could learn about it. And mom was sitting there watching them like she was just trying to absorb all the information. She was going, okay, I don't think she had any idea what they were talking about, but she was definitely getting something out of it. Eating lots of food. Nothing specific here. Oh, this is Jessica. Jessica's little baby, Olivia. Jessica is a friend of mine, and she just had this baby, so we went to visit. and went for a walk, and Mom pushed the baby. Actually, it looks like Jessica's carrying the baby. Mom's pushing the empty stroller. Yeah, Ben and Jerry's. She's in her pajamas. Two-fisted Ben and Jerry's. AWS Summit. So I like to go to this AWS Summit every year, and it was at the at some point I didn't want to leave her alone anymore, so I brought her with me, and it didn't go over too well. She was bored with all the lectures and making noise, and it just oh, come on, I can't believe you drugged me here, she's saying. This might be the Bay Breakers. No, it's just some random walk. This is San Francisco though, so she wearing the same thing? Yeah. So this was after the AWS Summit. She got her way and we went home. This might even be the same day. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Back home. Quan's still... No, this is Mimsy, my sister's cat. So by this time, my sister was living with us. So come on, I don't like doing this anymore. A car show in Benicia. Shorter and shorter walks. Mother's Day, 2018. 2018. This must be your birthday, May 27th. Cake pop at Starbucks. Here she is visiting her brother. And this might have been the time at some point she didn't, it was like he wasn't there. She just didn't recognize him and didn't care to interact with him. It was kind of sad. This is Katie's, my cousin, her brother's daughter, and her son. So we went to visit them, and it just Gurmai's birthday, signing the card. Look at her handwriting. You can see she's having a hard time writing, and it's happy with two B's. Happy. Father's Day, I believe. Jelly Belly Factory. This is just random in Benicia. What a smile. What a beautiful, beautiful. Very photogenic. She was the Miss Santa Clara County when she was a girl, a young woman. And she talked about the thing that she remembered most from that was getting to ride on the fire engine. This is the Marin County Fair. My friend was playing violin there, so we went. And here she is kissing a star trooper. Mm-hmm. Whoops, fell asleep again. Sir Fay, who came to stay with my brother's house on Workaway, and she just loved Mom. Harry Potter hat. This is the new park in San Francisco that was built on top of the bus terminal. I've been talking for an hour now, I can tell, because I set my phone to do not disturb for an hour. This day I remember she was so grumpy. I would take her, we had to maintain our buildings in the city, the apartments, and I would take her with me, and she was not happy, and she was grumpy. I took her to lunch here. This is Aquatic Park in San Francisco across the street. She ate. She was much better after she ate. This was hilarious. She she was trying to get out of the car with her seatbelt on, and she couldn't quite figure out what's going on. She said, "What is this?" And she looked up, and it was so innocent, man. She says, "They seem to be tied down." um, she just didn't understand these basic things anymore. This actually looks like she's drawing on something. This is my desk here, and she's sitting at my desk. I have the two computers, and what a mess. Okay, we're getting ready for a trip. Looks like a place where it's going to be cold. Oh, it's Iceland. So here we are at Iceland with the Aurora Borealis. Yeah, Iceland. And this is a ice cave. It's not a real ice cave. It's a manufactured ice cave. The real ice caves were a little too far away. She did not like being down here. She's smiling, but she was really not happy. There was only four hours of daylight. We were there in January, Iceland, in this Reykjavik. This is where this little museum thing is. More Aurora Borealis, and this is Snæfellsnes tour. It was so cold. Here we are going down to the Black Beach, and she didn't go. We started to take her down, but it was steep going in the ice, and my sister took her back up to the van. Now all of a sudden we're at the Benicia Senior Center. I started taking her there to socialize a bit more, but she didn't really care to socialize, and we just sat there and we would do a puzzle, but she couldn't do the puzzle. I would just do the puzzle, and then we'd go. But she's happy. There it is. We did that quite a bit, but the interactions that I was hoping for really didn't happen. Huh, no more of Iceland, huh? That was all Iceland? There she is with her backpack. It's a different backpack, it looks like. This is leaving the Vallejo house. Yeah, the first backpack fell apart pretty fast, and we got a new one. Most of the time she didn't wear it. We would just carry it, but this is Mount Tamalpais. They took her up there. There's a little walk to walk around, but I didn't take her on that. I didn't think she would handle it. This is Richmond, I believe. I was coaching a Toastmasters club in San Rafael, and I would take her with me, and then on the way back we did a couple adventures, the Mount Tamalpais, and then this one as well. Okay, she's in her warm jacket again. And oh, this is on the ferry. Whoops, she fell asleep again. This is in San Francisco. This is the apartment in San Francisco. She looks like she's tensely reading. I think this was the warming hut in San Francisco. Oh, Starbucks. Cake pop. Just another birthday. May 29th. 2 days after her birthday. Oh, the hula hoop. She was trying the hula hoop. I have a video of it. It's so cute. She does it and just falls to the floor, and she says, "I can't do it." Or "I tried," or something like that. Jelly Belly Factory. Did we go there twice? I don't know. It was an off day off. There's a month where it's closed for cleaning, and that's when we went. So we didn't get to see them making jelly bellies. This is Benicia. I think this was the 4th of July parade. Yeah, July 3rd. And now we're at the South End Rowing Club for fireworks. This is she got the primo seat here inside where it's warm and next to these picture windows where you could see the fireworks. Every little drop of that coffee she would drink. Now you notice this is 2019, so this is pre-pandemic. Oh, look what happened to her face. She had a couple of really bad falls. One was at night. She got up and got tangled in her comforter and fell. I have the camera in my room and I could hear her scream, so I ran in and she was on the floor. And she hit her head on the wall or something. And it's interesting because almost immediately she forgets that she fell, and she doesn't seem to bother the pain, and so it's like it never happened. Almost instantly, you can see her face here. And it's just like it never happened. But she was complaining about pain in her neck, so we took her to the hospital, and she got round up. She fractured some of her neck bones, and it's scary because it you know it seemed like it was close to a fatal accident. She had to wear a collar, which I'm sure you'll see in subsequent photos. So this was, let's see the dates on these just for curiosity. This was July 17th, and this was July 17th, so it's the same day. She's eating ice cream. This is San Francisco. In July 17. Oh, so these photos are not in order, I don't think, because 1919. Okay, 2019. Sorry. Anyway, so this, when I would have to go to take care of the apartments, I would always stop at Ghirardelli on the way back. That's where this is. Aquatic Park, Golden Gate Bridge, eating Ghirardelli's. Oh, and sliders. Oh, she put her socks on her hands. She was so uh, careful on how she put them on. I have a couple of photos like that. One, she put her mittens on her feet, so you could see, her mind's just not working. But she was just so delightful all the time. Corn dogs. She liked corn dogs. This was a ring that she put on her finger and it got stuck on her finger. You could see how swollen her finger is, and it was like this titanium metal. Nobody could cut it. We took her to all kinds of people and nobody could cut it off. And finally, my brother was able to get this diamond saw, and he put this metal thing to protect her skin and cut it off. And she was very patient. She knew what was going on, and she knew that she had to be still. And they finally got the ring off. I think this is Mark Knopfler again in 2019. So you can see we're getting close to the pandemic. Yeah, this is the Greek. So these steep concrete bleachers. We had to really watch her or guide her up. This might be an airport again, because we're about to go on another trip. I don't know where this is. This is Benicia. I don't know where this one is. Let's see. This one right here. She's got headphones in her ears, so she's listening to something. She loved music. She would sit and listen to music. We played Andre Rieu videos, and then she had these headphones that she would listen to music, and she would clap and just be delightful. Sometimes the clapping was loud. We put headphones on so that she could be in her own world, but then she would clap, and very windy day, clearly. This is oh, I think this is Kaiser for some reason. Maybe this is when we were going to get her head, her neck scanned. But these wheelchairs have this little lock bar. So if you're not squeezing this bar on the right, it doesn't roll. And that becomes relevant later. Okay, here we are. We're going on a trip. Now, where are we going? We are going to, well, this is San Francisco. We're on the airplane plane. This was kind of posed. We weren't really sleeping. I think she picked up the phone in the airport and just started pretending like she was talking. I think she was going blah, blah, blah. Barbados. So she doesn't have the neck brace on, so that was a different time. But this is all Barbados. This was our last trip in Barbados. We were there for 3 weeks. It was just the four of us, the three kids and her, in this Airbnb in Christchurch. And Barbados is a small island, and you could do a lot of things. And sometimes we were all together. Sometimes one of us was with mom, and the other two were on their own. And sometimes one of us were on our own, and it was all mixed up. I took scuba diving lessons. This is inside of the cave, the Harrison Cave. Twice Mom and I were in a cave, actually more times. The lookout, the highest point in Barbados. Eating lunch. These were the cars. We rented 2 of these cars. My sister's very clever idea to rent 2 cars. And Barbados. I'm just gonna zip through these. This is a photo my sister took. Me. .360 tour, where they took us on a tour all around the island, and this was one of the stops. These beaches. This was a lunch stop, and she was so hungry she ate this so fast. This is Flowers Cavern. Beautiful Barbados. This was a street parade. I don't know if you can hear the music, but once again the video's not playing well, so I'm going to skip it. John and Mom dancing. So these are just photos now from the street dance. It was really quite festive. Reading signs still, 2019. Another lookout point. This is a sheer cliff, right, where she's sitting, like with a couple meters. It's just a sheer cliff that goes down. Yeah, we took that little car up this little road, and it kept getting narrower and narrower. And I had to take a picture of the situation we got ourselves into, and then I had to figure out how to turn the car around. And this was a Toastmasters meeting. When I travel, I like to go visit the Toastmasters club. So this was Barbados Toastmasters in this schoolroom, this classroom. This is back into the Flowers Cave. Oh no, this is Harrison Cave. So Mom and I went, and then my sister wanted to go, so we went again. Blowing bubbles. I don't know. She discovered that she could do this with her saliva, and she would entertain herself blowing bubbles. This was we went snorkeling in the boat. We had to walk out to the boat. Well, how are we going to get Mom out there? And this guy just came and lifted her up and carried her. But there's a photo. I don't know if I have it in this album. That she's just got this expression of shock on her face when he picked her up. Not in a bad way. It's turtles. So that's what we were seeing. Snorkeling. Mom wasn't snorkeling. She was on the boat. But the three of us went snorkeling. We left her alone on the boat, which we felt safe doing because, she wasn't going to fall in or anything. She was pretty safe. You could see. She just sat there. And this was a viewing port where you could see, it was a glass bottom. She could see underneath the water. There she is being carried off. Clapping, she enjoyed clapping. This is a video of her being carried off, but it's not going to play. Well, I don't know if you could see that or hear it. And now we're on our way home. We stopped in Miami for a day, and I like to go kayaking. So I was trying to arrange to go kayaking in the Everglades, and then my brother wanted to go kayaking, and my sister didn't want to go kayaking. My mom can't kayak, so we compromised on this boat tour, which turned out to be a very delightful day. This guy was very knowledgeable of the area, and he took us all on this boat private tour to these different islands or different places in the Keys, in the Everglades. It was the Everglades, and we were all together. And so here we are walking on a shell beach. One of my favorite photos. Now we're back home. This is the Alzheimer's walk. It was like the next day after we got home from Barbados. She's so cute. So the blue flowers for the people that have Alzheimer's, and then there are different colors if you were taking care of somebody, if your family had them, etc. It was 3 miles, I think, walk, and we did it 2 years. His first year, she did the walk. The second year, we only could make it a mile. And she got her massage. She was a massage therapist herself. And this was kind of funny because her little ears fell off. And she was trying to put them on like they were glasses. She just doesn't quite understand. How do these work? I finally helped her. Yellow means you have a family member with Alzheimer's, and blue means you have it. I'm wearing that shirt right now as I'm doing this. Oh, this is the boat again. Here we are at a movie. It's not Star Wars. I think Star Wars was over by then. December 19th, 2019. You can figure it out. This is River. This is John's son. So this is mom meeting her grandson for the first time and only time. I think only time. And yeah. Yeah, the only time. Okay, these are her earphones. These are from Live Inside. This company makes these earphones for people, elders, with dementia. They have a little SD card in, and they just play music for her. And we would put these on her, and she would enjoy the music. And the the gloves are to dampen the clapping because she would clap to the music, and it would be kind of loud and annoying. So we got her these clapping gloves. And I have one photo. I don't think it's in this album, but she put the gloves on her feet, and she looked like a little frog. It's cute. But after a while, I would just play videos for her, and you know, I would work, and she would sit and listen to the videos. But in this case, she is with the earphones, and this is the view from my desk, and there's a little aisle next to the desk, and then there's the dresser, so with the mirror on the closet. So this dresser is inside the closet, and half the closet is open, and you can see the mirror on the other side of where I'm sitting. You can see my head taking the photo next to her right ear, and my desk here, and my messy bed. This is at the South End Rowing Club. So what day is this? February 9th? February 9th is the coldest day of the year. There's always a swim on February 9th. The dreaded 9th, they call it. So I think I was kayaking for this swim. Definitely not swimming it. And John came with mom, and they just hung out. This is at the Vallejo house. This is another video that's not going to play, but this is at Duke Cooney's house. Duke and his partner adopted a daughter. And so we went for the first birthday. And this is the daughter, and you can see she has the headphones on because we were trying to keep her calm and happy at the party. Isadora. Oh, maybe that's River though. Maybe River was there. Yeah, I think that's River. This is right before the pandemic. This is, you can see the date here is 2000. March 2020. So this is when everything was shutting down. And this is the South End Rowing Club, the traditional St. Patrick's Day gathering, and it was very lightly attended. And I brought mom, and this was the last public thing that we did. Yeah, people were starting to stay home and not go out. She loved the music. It doesn't look like she is loving it there, but she's just being cute. So the South End Rowing Club, this is our swim map. Back home. Okay, so my car broke down, and I bought this truck off of my friend. And this is the car that I had. And, the engine went out, or the transmission, or something huge on the car. So it was just garaged while I was driving around in this truck. But one of the side um, benefits of the pandemic was we weren't going into Starbucks anymore, but I would go get the breakfast and we would sit in the car and listen to music and eat our breakfast. And it was really delightful to sit, we would sit overlooking Carquina Strait. This is her bad boy backwards baseball cap look. A SkyStar wheel. So this was being built in San Francisco, and they just abandoned it for the pandemic. So you could see it doesn't have the carts on it for people to get inside and enjoy the views. Here it is without the carts. So here we are eating our Starbucks out in the park rather than in the cafe, and it was nice. I enjoyed that. We would sit when it was colder. We would just sit in the car and look over the strait here and listen to music. Those are from the walk, Alzheimer's walk. And okay, so here's my desk here, and I had this monitor set up so she could watch videos, and I would work and she would sit here. But the problem was that she was always reaching over and grabbing things from my desk, and I just had these tiny little monitors here. Gosh, how did I work that way? But one year I just totally renovated this, and I'll show you some of what I did. And this is I don't know how this happened. She's in her robe and it's tied in with the seatbelt of the car. So we must have went in her robe, and then we tied up her robe belt, and it got caught in the seatbelt. Anyway, there she is with her pandemic mask. They got her to actually wear it for, I think this is actually at Kaiser, but after a while she started taking it off, and then she put it back on, and it's like a blindfold. It's like she didn't quite understand what it was for. There she is with her punk rock hair. She would sleep on her side, and her hair would be like that in the morning. Different day, same hair. Okay, so this is the charity dinners, the fundraiser dinners. Crab feed that we like to go to was canceled because of the pandemic, so we gathered prizes and we had our own little crab feed and did a raffle and everything. It was kind of fun. So here we are eating crab in the backyard. And then this is, we have our raffle tickets. We're doing our own little raffle. It was fun. Oh, and this was another thing that's, some of these things are sad but funny. And this was one of those. She couldn't quite figure out how to get her shirt on. And this was a turtleneck. It was kind of tight, so it was hard for her to manage. These are things we take for granted. Putting on sweaters and underwear and things. But for somebody with memory issues, they become quite a challenge. And arms end up in the wrong holes and heads end up in the wrong holes. And this one, it looks like everything was in the right hole, but she couldn't quite get her head through. And she looked at me with such helplessness and like, what am I doing wrong? And yeah, there it is. You're so concerned. And here we are. This looks like Easter, and this is Laura, my dad's lady friend, and we're at her house. She's helping her drink, and skills just were dropping off slowly. Even the ability for her to eat feed herself. And by this time, we were deep in incontinence products, and she wasn't wearing normal underwear anymore. I would have to change her periodically. This looks like it's back at the McGill house. So we were doing some work there. I brought the chair for her to sit in while I was working on the apartments. And of course, Golden Gate Bridge, because on the way home from San Francisco, we would do these stops. Ghirardelli, probably, but not this time. She was a massage therapist, and so every once in a while I would get her to massage my feet. She would just go into massage therapist mode and go through these things that were ingrained in her memory muscles. Not as often as I would like, though. But this time she was really into giving me a foot massage, even with the elbow. There's Columbia, the unicorn. She was taking care of Columbia, the unicorn. That's another story. This is at Kaiser. She's wearing the mask. This is Isadora. This is Duke's, my cousin's adopted daughter. I think the previous picture was actually River. So might have been a couple of times that they met. But this is up at, where is this? I don't know. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is Olivia. This is Jessica's daughter. Remember that? So we were over at Jessica's house. Inside my car, I got my Camry fixed. Now this is the SkyStar reel. Remember, this is, what year are we at now? 2021. So they got the SkyStar wheel working after a year or so. And we went up inside it. She had no clue at all that she was in this thing. She was just happily sitting there. She didn't look at the views. She didn't notice the views. She didn't notice she was going up, down. She was just happily sitting there. So you could see the view of San Francisco, the top of the Academy of Sciences building, Sutro Tower. Yeah. She had no clue that she was going on a little ride, and you could see it now with all the wheels, with all the carts a year later. Kicking back. I don't know if she fell or slipped, but she's sitting on the steps. She would just do these randomly cute things, accidentally or on purpose or whatever. So for whatever reason, she's sitting on the steps. Often she would just randomly sit down. It's like she doesn't want to walk anymore. There were some incidences. Yeah, so here we are. She's listening to her headphones, and I'm watching. I like Jace Knows Something, so I don't know what I'm watching. Just a carving that was in the rocks already. Whoops, she put her shoes on backwards. And there was another time when I took her out, and she was, we drove down maybe to Starbucks, and we were walking, and she was just walking so slowly and gingerly, and we got her into Starbucks finally. It's like she just didn't seem like she wanted to walk, and finally I noticed that she didn't have her shoes on, so I got her out of the house too soon before I put her shoes on. This time she put them on backwards, and so little things like that were entertaining but also kind of sad. And here's another one. Do you notice what's going on here? She's got her mermaid leg. She put both of her legs into one pant leg here. And the funny thing about these is it's so like, it's just totally normal. It's like, okay, I did it, I'm done. And so this is inside of the garage. I bet this is a summer month. Let's see, July. Yeah. So it gets so hot in that house, and the garage is like 10 degrees cooler. So I set up a little entertainment center and desk in the garage so I could work and she could watch and we could be a little cooler. I was getting my car repaired and we were waiting for the car, and we walked down to Starbucks, which was like a quarter of a mile, and it was a treacherous walk. It's just okay. She just can't walk anymore. Walk long distances anyway. And even in the house, every time she got up, I would have to be right there with her so that if she fell or anything, I could be there. Oh, I got her to massage my feet again. And this is, we put this railing up on this porch so that she would have something to grab onto. And this particular time, she didn't have the mental awareness to go around and up the steps. Instead, she went under the railing and kind of ducked through. She was very nimble, very flexible, and from her dancer days, I guess, she could bend her legs in really amazing positions and scooch down, and for a little lady, she was so flexible. This, I think, was my birthday. I'm getting ready to go away I dropped mom off so that I could have the week off. Just a nice little sunset on her head. Sitting in my car, enjoying the morning breakfast. This was another little venture we went on. Jill, mom. This is Jazzy. This is another person that came to stay at my brother's house. So this is the day we met her. She was a softball player, so we were playing softball. Working on my car, or working on a project outside, and I gave her a little seat so that she could sit and be with me while I was working outside. Oh, this is hilarious. Another one of the hilarious sad things, but I hope you find it more hilarious. Actually, I have a video of this whole scene, but getting in the car was becoming a challenge. She has to envision how she's going to sit in the car and put her butt down and swing her legs around, and these little things we take for granted are actually challenging for somebody that doesn't have much of a mind left. And so let's watch this sequence. There she is. She seems to be doing fine. Oh, whoops. Uh-oh. That's the wrong way. And you'll notice this gap here from the seat to the dashboard, how wide it is. So I actually reached down and I moved the seat forward so that she wouldn't slip into the gap here. But she was very intent on what she was doing and getting in the seat. And this is a little difficult, but she's flexible, she's nimble, she can do it. She can do it. There. She's ready to go. And she was so happy. She looked up at me. Oops. That's another story. So she looked up at me and said, "Okay, I'm ready to go." And I have it all on video too, but she was so proud of herself for getting in the car and being ready to go. She didn't even notice that this was not the right way to sit. Anyway, I turned her back around. And here we are after the second fall. The second fall I actually witnessed. It was, you turn your back for a second and that's all it takes. She's at the point where I should be with her all the time, and I walked up the porch, and, if I go back to that one photo, I think it's, this one right here. So I walked up the stairs and I have my hands full or whatever. I have to unlock the door, and then I need to put my stuff down so I could help her, but she was following me, and she tripped on their step, and I turned her. She screamed. I turned around and I saw her hit her head on this metal um, threshold here. And it was absolutely terrifying to watch. So this was the result of that. And once again, within a couple minutes, it was like it never happened to her. She forgot. She fell. She didn't seem to notice anything was wrong with her face or pain or anything. But I took her right away to the uh, hospital, and once again, she had the cracked spine, uh, neck, and so they gave her this brace. She was totally content with this wearing this brace for however long. I think it was 4 months she had to wear it, and it was mainly just to in case she fell again, to keep her from making it worse. So here we are at the McGill house again, getting the apartments ready for a new tenant. This was Jazzy made this for chainmail. Looks like chainmail, but and this is an example of her flexibility and her being able to put her legs in positions none of us could. It was just, this is Thanksgiving, I believe. No, Christmas Eve dinner. She just put her leg up on the table just like that. And you could see everybody was quite entertained. I couldn't do that. It's Jazzy and John and Mom. Christmas. And at this point, she just had no clue it was Christmas. You put a gift in front of her, she didn't know to open it or anything. It was just she was just sitting there and enjoying the company and us enjoying her company. But you could see no presents for Mom because she just didn't have a clue about it. So you can see now, this is my desk. I got these monitors on this arm so I can move them around. And so I could work better, but I could also point one for her to watch music. And in this particular case, I like to do yoga in this space in the morning. So I was doing yoga, and I would have to time the yoga before she woke up, because she would wake up and come in my room, and then I would have to give her attention and I couldn't do yoga. But in this particular case, I thought maybe I could do yoga with her here, and that's what I did. But you'll see that my desk here, I had the issue I mentioned before of her grabbing things off my desk all the time. This is where she would sit. This is a rocking chair, and I would have videos on this monitor for her, and I had a speaker that would face her that would play the music from the videos, the Andre Review videos. And when it was yoga time, I could put yoga on it. So it was very flexible setup. So here she is. I gave her socks to put on, and she got one on her foot and one on her hand. Very happy that she's, completely dressed now. And so this, for her bed, I got this guard to keep her from falling out. This one actually wasn't effective because she would just push it out with her feet. I got another one just to prevent her from falling out of her bed. And we got this walker that the hospital gave us to help her walk, but she didn't have the mental ability to use the walker. You pick it up, put it down, walk. Pick it up, put it down, walk. It's too hard for her. So, but it was handy for her to just hold on to. So in this case, I'm getting out of the car. We're on a steep hill. Guess what we're doing? We're in San Francisco. You'll see in a bit. And I have my hands full of stuff and I'm trying to do things. So it was very handy just to whip the walker out and let her hang on to it. And of course, I'm nearby. So if she fell, I would be able to grab her. Trying to work the walker. Oh, we're at Aquatic Park in San Francisco here. That means we must have ice cream from Ghirardelli. Yeah, she wasn't using the walker to walk. She was using it just to stand up. Getting a little messy on her jacket. I wrote a story about this day because, maybe not this day, but the combination of the Alzheimer's, the pandemic, because you don't want to bring her, I don't want to bring her into the store to get the ice cream. And, but I wanted to get the ice cream. I wound up buying it on DoorDash. And I think I had them deliver it to my car, or I just went and picked it up. So once it was ready, I just went and picked it up. I don't remember which, and then I had the handicap placard, so I was able to park in the handicap spot. And anyway, it was just this whole logistical ordeal just to get the ice cream. And people say, "Oh, well, that was so sweet of you to do that for your mom." Well, I wasn't doing it for her. She's not going to remember the ice cream. But she enjoys it in the moment. I was really doing it for myself. And we got the ice cream and we shared it. So I would eat it and she would eat out of the same one. I don't like to eat too much, so I gave her most of it. And now the wheelchair. So the wheelchair came through Kaiser, and just in time to go to the Andre Rieu concert. So I bought her tickets to see Andre Rieu concert. They wound up getting canceled because of the pandemic, so in 2020. And it didn't get canceled, it was postponed for a year and then for another year. So this is going to be 2022 if we look at the date. So by the time the concert was going to happen, we still had the tickets. They were still good. She was not mobile enough to go. So not only was she not mobile enough, but she wasn't aware of her surroundings enough to sit in a seat without disturbing people around her. So this was this whole, I had to get her to the Andre Rieu concert, even though she wasn't going to remember it. She loved Andre Rieu, and they just needed to do this. So we got the wheelchair through Kaiser, and then to make a long story short, I got a suite for us to sit in, and oops, she fell asleep. My sister's asleep too. So here we are going to the Andre Rieu concert. I scored this suite. The suite is 10 people minimum, 150 per people, and it's a huge expense. But I called him and told him the situation, and he said, "Oh, you could have a suite, and even if it's just two of you, 150 per ticket." And so I invited as many people as I could because we had room for 12 in this private suite, and it was just my father, my mother, and I. And the old tickets I gave to my friend Tina because she likes this kind of thing. And then Tina couldn't find anybody to go to, so she just came up to the suite with us. So we had 4 people in the suite. So here we are at the wheelchair. We even have our headphones, you could see, attached to her backpack. I don't know why we were bringing those with us, but so here we are in our private suite to watch Andre Rieu. There was people in the suite next door. To our right, to the left, there was nobody, and it's like we were watching it all by ourselves, practically. So you could see the suites, they're all empty, and in front of us there was some kind of press booth or something, and so she was isolated, and she could make all the noise she wanted. You could see. Hungry for you. So now we had the wheelchair, and I could take her on walks again in the wheelchair. And so, but there was a problem. See, there's this steep hill, and she could roll down the hill. You know, if I was pushing her and tripped and fell or whatever, she would roll down the hill. She's got the brakes on here. Don't worry, it looks scary. So I didn't want to take her on hilly walks. This was another fall or something. I don't know. I don't remember the order of everything, but maybe this was the second fall. Maybe this was the one where she hit the threshold, and the previous one was the bed. Yeah, so this was the second fall. So anyway, back in the head brace. So this is the second wheelchair, and Laura, my dad's lady friend, and my father acquired this, and it had brakes. It had 2 sets of brakes. No, it had hand brakes, but they were not the right kind. They were, you know, the one I showed you at Kaiser, that if you didn't hold it, it would stop. You had to squeeze it to let it go. And these brakes were just to stop. When you squeezed it, it would stop. So I had to retrofit it, and this is what I'm doing here. I was drilling holes. I don't have pictures of the whole process, but I changed the brakes, so now I had 2 sets of brakes, and one was it would stop when you squeezed it, and the other one would be it would stop if you didn't squeeze it. So now I could push her on hills with the brakes squeezed to release them, and if I would slip and fall, it would stop the wheelchair. So here we are training for the bay breakers again. Now that we had the wheelchair, I said we can do the bay breakers again. So here we are, getting ready for the beta breakers, waiting for Bart to open. Mom in her wheelchair, loaded down with all her gear, all our gear too. As long as she had wheels, she was going to carry everything. She still had the head brace on. And my dad's pushing her. My dad wound up pushing her like 2/3 of the way. He's a powerhouse too. I think, what year is this? This is 2022. So he was 88 or 87 at this point. I put these in just for fun. So there he's pushing her. He was way ahead of me. Even though he was pushing her, he was way ahead of me. Okay, this is another funny situation. She comes in my room and she sees the hamper and she thinks it's a chair, so she sits in the hamper and she just falls into it. And she's sitting in the hamper like it's totally normal. You know, she's sitting there enjoying the music and totally happy. And this looks like things have fallen down in her room. I don't know what's going on here, but the rocking chair is tipped over, and so is the bath chair. This is a bath chair I would take and put it in the shower to give her a bath. You know, all these things just slowly, she lost her independence and she would need help on. Maybe I took this photo because her sock was missing. I don't know. New shoes. Another video that Oh, yeah, this is kind of a sad, funny, because she was trying to eat her finger. She was holding her finger like it was something to eat, and but then she would get it to her mouth, and she would notice that there was nothing there, and she was confused about what was food or not, and she never really took a bite of her finger, but she was often holding it like it was food. And anyway, at the end of this video, I was laughing, but also acknowledging that this wasn't a funny situation. There, see, she gets it to her mouth, but she knows that there's nothing there besides her finger. Anyway. Okay, and this is another situation with the hamper, but she missed the hamper this time, so she just sat down on the floor, and she's just sitting there like totally happy, and she can't get up from this position, but she doesn't seem to want to. So at this point, I feel a little relaxed because I don't have to worry about her getting up, and I let her sit there for as long as she. It was maybe an hour or so while I worked, and she was totally happy. Now she's not happy in this picture, but this is just, you know, moving her now in the wheelchair. Ugh, ugh, that was hard. This is the old wheelchair, you can tell by the big wheels. But it became challenging to move her from house to house. So, she would spend, 3 days or so at the Vallejo house and then 4 days at the Benicia house. But it was becoming a challenge to move her back and forth. Just bare feet, carrying her sometimes. Okay, this is what I did for my desk here to prevent her from reaching over, and I put this little barrier on. I don't know if I have a picture of it, but you remember seeing my desk. So this was a little wall that would protect her, protect the desk from her reaching over and grabbing things, because it was getting kind of annoying. And this square hole here, rectangle hole, was for the speaker, so that she could still, I could have a speaker facing towards her, and this kind of octangular hole was for the monitor to swing through. It turned out pretty well. Yeah, here you can see it all in place. So she's in her rocking chair, and here's the monitor with her music on, and the monitor with my work station. These are on arms, so I could just swing them around, and when she wasn't here with me, I could swing this monitor over and have two from my working station, and it turned out pretty good. Here she is waiting. Is she looking patient? She was waiting patient. She wanted to go. I don't think she knew where we were going, but she wanted to go. We were going to the King Tut. It's not King Tut. King Ramas II exhibit at DeYoung. Is it DeYoung? One of those places in San Francisco. And she had her wheelchair. And here we are up in the observation tower at the DeYoung Museum. She's got her little stuffed hippo from the exhibit. She doesn't know which end is up, but she's got it. And she did stand up and dance a little bit. And you could see the Sky Star wheel that we were on the previous year down there. It was only supposed to be temporary, but they made it permanent. I think they moved it, though, to a different location, but it's permanent in San Francisco now. It's like she's dancing. But the Sky Star, it was a mobile attraction that would go from city to city. We would spend a couple years in each city. Yeah, she's dancing. But she is so frail. She could just fall over at any time, and had to be ready just to grab her. And, and here she is. I showed you that barrier I put up on her bed, and this was a different one. This one had hooks that hooked on the other side of the bed, but it was shorter. It was like half the length of the bed, and she still managed to fall out. She is so nimble, and she would curl up in a ball, and now she's sideways on the bed, and then her head flopped off. A beautiful photo of her in the sun, just kind of snoozing. And here again, you can see how nimble she was. She's sitting sideways in the rocking chair with her legs over the side. She did that. She put herself in that position. Just my messy room. And now here, just holding water to drink was a challenge. And this was a special bottle that she could suck on even if it was upside down, but it was still hard for her to use. Walks in the wheelchair. We had a little bit of freedom again for a few more walks. We got a few more walks with the wheelchair. I actually took her. I would go to the farmer's market in Benicia, which was 2 miles from my house. I would push her all the way there, and then all the way back too. So I got a lot of exercise, and I had music playing for her, and it was uphill on the way back. It was. I only did that twice, but I did it. We did it. Bundled up. This is the Beta Breakers again. So what year are we now? 2023. Her last Beta Breakers. I don't think she was too happy this time. Father's Day. My dad got a bouquet of cookies, and we gave her the one that said the boss, because that's what he said. She's the boss, whatever she wants. She was in charge. Whoops, she fell asleep again. Mom. And this is her cat collection. Her propensity to reach in and grab things. So in the car, she was always opening up the glove box and pulling things out of it. So I finally just took everything out, and I bought all of these Beanie Baby cats, and I put all of those in there. And then she would open up the glove box, and there were all these cats. It didn't work too well, but it did prevent her from pulling my papers out. This was a hot day in the summer, and we had these really light clothes for her, and she was resting on this pillow, and I had the pillow on my lap. I obviously not here. I got up to take the photo, but these were with her head on the pillow that was on my lap, and enjoying the music in the rocking chair. It's really enjoying music. It's what she did. And there she is in her bed with the little guard up, munchkin made for babies, but also for old ladies with Alzheimer's. So sweet as could be. She was so sweet. There she is getting her toenails clipped. John took good care of her toenails. I think that's what he's doing. I think that's what he has in her hand. Anyway, he was the toenail clipper. And here we are at the hospital again. July 2023. She was complaining of pain in her upper chest, and I just thought, that this could be it for her, and we called the emergency. I thought maybe she was having a heart attack, and they took her to the hospital and admitted her, and it turned out it was just constipation. She was just really backed up, and so this was kind of this thing that triggered off a lot of additional care for her, closer care, and Kaiser came in and they put her in the hospice program. July 2023. It was August 2023 when she got in the hospice program. Yeah, it was like a team of angels swooped down to help us with her through Kaiser Hospice. And yeah, we had to really monitor her food intake or her food waste removal, and it became a big deal to keep track of everything, not on paper or anything, but we were talking about it. I never used to talk about my mom's poops when I was a kid, but we were talking about them when she was in her last couple of years here. And we had to balance medication. There's different constipation medications, and we had to find the right balance for her. And here we are at the East Bay Circle of Men family camp out. We took her in the wheelchair just for an afternoon. Here's Ro, another workaway visitor who came to take care of her and just really loved her. Took really good care of her. And she, you could see the pad here now for incontinence to protect the sofa. She was always leaving wet spots. Now we're getting down to, this is October 2023. So this is Ro and Olivia. They were both here together and teamed up to help take care of her. Who are at Benicia at the end of First Street, looking over the Carquinez Strait. This was at the farmer's market. We were walking at the farmer's market. That's what all this is. And this is at the end. There's the Carquinez Strait. Here she is, and now we have a hospital bed for Kaiser arranged for us to have this hospital bed. It has these bars, goes up and down, so it's easy to move her. See where are we now? November 12, 2020. So pretty soon she was not going to be getting out of bed anymore. But this is her leg that is up in the air. So she has this hospital bed and she's just holding her legs up in the air. She had this strength and flexibility still, and she would just hold her legs up in the air like this for a while. So sweet in her bed. It was January 25th, 2000. This is it. She was no longer getting out of bed anymore. She just stayed in bed. It was like January 19th, 2024 that she stopped getting out of bed. We got her out of bed twice. This little chucks that kind of fell over her head. The home health aide would put it behind her head, and they would come and clean her up and wash her hair, and they put this, kind of waterproof barrier behind her head to protect the pillow. But it fell over her head she looked like a little nun. But so this is the Hoyer lift, and they got it for us, but we never really used it. This was actually when we were practicing. They were training us on how to use it, and it just got in the way. If we needed to move her, we could just lift her up. very easily. Which my brother and I, so we didn't need the lift after all. But we got her out of bed twice since she was confined or not getting out of bed. Once we lifted her up and brought her outside to enjoy the nice summer day, and then the other time was to come to the Benicia house. So at this point she was at the Vallejo house all the time, and I had to move over there to take care of her, and it wasn't very comfortable for me. I was sleeping on the sofa because I wanted to be near her in case she had needs at night. And then we didn't know how long, it seemed like she was going to be leaving us soon, but she hung on for another year. But 6 months into that, I just said, I need to go home. I need to go back to the Benicia house. So we brought her back to the Benicia house. So that was the second time. Actually, there was a third time I got her out of bed. I carried her downstairs to hang out with me in the living room, and the hospice team says don't do that. If you fell and tripped on the stairs, which was a concern of mine when I did it, it just wouldn't be a good scene. So at that point, she was just in bed all the time. And these are pouches, vegetable pouches that I got from Costco that we would feed her. And towards the end, she was eating solid food again.
Someone's at the entryway doorbell.
I gotta go. Somebody's at the door. Okay, that was instantaneously for you, but I went down and got a package from the front door. So, yeah, so we would feed her these pouches, and she could hardly hold them. That's probably why we took this picture, is because she was holding it herself. It's like, oh, wow, she's holding it. But she really couldn't put it up to her mouth. She would miss her mouth. So we had to feed her. And it was around Super Bowl 2024 that we said, oh, she could still eat solid food. She was eating shrimp, and so we would mix up solid food in these pouches. Yeah, so she's not quite able to get it in her mouth, but she knows what she's supposed to be doing, but she can't quite do it. And there she is, sweet, sleeping like a little angel. And this was another, the reason why we're taking the pictures. Hey, look, she's feeding herself, but she isn't quite doing. You can see the water level isn't where she's pouring it. She barely got it in her mouth. And this is just such a sweet picture. Her hands were kind of, like this as they are, and she could hardly move her hands, and she was still so sweet. She could hardly hold things. I would put my fingers in her hands, and she would squeeze my hands. So when is this? June 2024. So she was still 6 months, 8 months. This is a video. We're trying to get her to eat on her own, looks. You can see how thin her arm is here too. It's just her muscles are atrophying, and Almost, Mom. Almost. And then this flat chicken. We actually got her. Uh, for some reason, the shape of the chicken, it was flat, and she could hold it in her hand, and she was actually feed. This was the last time she fed herself. Yeah, so and you can actually see that she's actually got her finger in her mouth here. So she wasn't quite doing it right, but this was like the last time she was actually feeding herself. That's why we were taking the pictures. It's like, oh, she's feeding herself, but then she got the wrong hand. This hand is holding the chicken, but this is the hand that she put in her mouth. Anyway, and then this is the last photo, and this is actually after she passed away, and the cat was sitting on her. The cat spent a lot of time on her bed in the last couple of um, of months. It would sit on her bed all the time, and so this is the last day after she left us. And I didn't want to take a picture of her, but I took a picture of the bed, and that was the end. So this is this is another picture of her. Gosh, this is how young she was, and us as little kids. And this is Bill McConnell, her second husband's son. He always seemed like such an adult, but he's still a kid here. To me, he just seemed grown up. Anyway, I guess that's the last picture. If I go one more. Oh, okay, another picture from a long time ago. Um, she was very young, and a lot of pictures here. These are old pictures. These are scanned. This is Bill McConnell here to the right. This is this is a Christmas. And I told you about the Christmases that we spent them mostly with my father, and so this is in Aptos. I came down after Christmas and gave her a gingerbread house that I made. These gingerbread houses, very long time ago. Um, yeah, these are just scanned photos. That's Tippy Tucker that I told you about. Okay. Ticket to the Toronto Blue Jays. These are souvenirs from Canada. We went to see this play. Royal Botanical Gardens. These are John's pictures that he added. Oh, okay. We're going to see this. Hopefully, this last picture will be a good one to go out with the guy picking her up. There it is. Yeah, oh, I'll get you there. And he just picked her up, just like that. And that was her expression. And whoa! But she very much enjoyed that. And he carried her off to the boat. And with that, I'll end this slideshow. And I hope if you watch this, I mean, what is it, 2 hours long now? Anyway, that's it. That's my photo journey of mom and Alzheimer's for 12 years.